For those that might have watched my channel or listened to me, they might have heard me talk about my son being very ill. My son Jesse William, he passed away.
Jesse. Hello, Mama. Hi. Hi there.
I've had to film this about 5 times. I don't know if this is even the last version, but I figure no matter what the version is, it's not good. So this is really hard. I'm trying my best. So I just want to let you know, I just can't get this out without crying, so I'm sorry I look like this. And on the 18th of September at about 7 p.m, I lost my 28-year-old son. So, he had a long battle with kidney disease and many other issues. He was so brave and he fought really hard and he got really tired and he just couldn't fight anymore. This is hard. I'm a mess. I don't even know what to, I can barely get up. My husband thought it was a good idea to film this video, but I don't know. Right now I'm just talking into a camera, just trying to learn to breathe. It's now been 21 days since I filmed, since the 18th of September 2024. My son, my beautiful boy, he was born in March 96. He was diagnosed with severe autism and an intellectual disability when he was about 18 months old. He was non-verbal, but he could communicate in his own way. He was the light of my life. He was kind of frozen in time. He couldn't talk and he couldn't feed himself and he couldn't shower. So he was kind of like my little baby boy. He grew into a man's body, but he never did grow into a man. He was so happy and we set up so many services. He lived with me the whole time and I loved him so much. I'm not doing a good job at explaining how beautiful he was. I can't even believe I'm saying was. I am so broken. I miss him so much. I haven't gone back to work. I can barely get up and eat. I can barely shower. How do you go on? How do you live? At the moment, not seeing a lot of point in anything, if I'm honest. I want to tell you more about him, and I want someone to listen to his story. Someone. I want to put a little video of him in here, and I hope somebody watches all of this. I hope somebody does. I'm sorry, I've tried to do this video so many times. I'm trying. Okay, you're probably going to see him in another outfit. I can't do this right now. I'll try again. I'll try again. At his funeral, because he was a little boy, my mum used to say, of all the hardship that he had, he was brave like Simba and strong like Buzz. We wrote that on his card, on his booklet. I cry myself so much that I go numb, and then I just sit there and time warp passes, and then it starts again, and then I just cry, and then I wake up and I don't want to. It's like a truck hits you. It's like as soon as you're even a little bit conscious, you know. You know. So I've had to record again. I could not. I just couldn't continue with the story from some of the earlier footage. And I'm going to try again. So it's 7 weeks tomorrow that my son passed away. But the reason that he was health-wise so sick is because he had chronic kidney disease. And that affected a lot of organs. It affected his heart, his liver. He had what they call, it was a megacolon, so his bowels, they just didn't work properly. And that he got a lot of issues from that. And his bladder was an enlarged bladder, and a lot of that didn't work properly. So for many years, he was really sick. And he wasn't a candidate for dialysis. Both of his kidneys were very damaged. We don't know why. We don't know if he was born that way. We don't know. We worked with renal dietitians. My mum, everything that he ate, she made fresh, everything. We controlled every bit of food that went in his body and drink. We made sure that it was for each stage of his kidney disease, that it was the right food with the right sodium and you know, salt intake and all the things for each stage. We did everything to give him as much time as possible. And he fought. He fought hard. He didn't give up. He was such a fighter. And I feel a bit guilty because about 5 days before, I was giving him a shower and I was shaving him. And I said to him, I always called him mate. I said, mate, don't you give up. You keep fighting. Because I knew he was really sick. And the next day, he collapsed and he never walked again on his own. The last 20 days were really hard for him, for us. And because of his autism, he was non-verbal. And so we did everything we could to keep everything as normal as possible, but adjust for how sick he was and to not scare him. Because it's not like I could sit there and explain to him what was happening. And sometimes I think maybe that's good that he didn't really maybe know. But I think in the last 6 days he knew, because he kept looking at me, which was really unusual to get my eye contact. And it was like his doctor, who was fantastic and here every day at his home with me, said that she believed he was trying to communicate in his way of communicating, that it was time, and then he couldn't fight anymore. So I really just wanted to do this video for a bit of maybe self-healing, and to let you guys know why you haven't seen me. It's not that I just stopped loving handbags, but at the moment that's my life, and it's one of grief and trauma. And I don't know, I don't love anything right now. I just wake up and breathe. I always felt like we would go together, that I would stop breathing. I don't know. I don't know how to live like this. I miss him so much, and I miss our life. Sorry. We had a beautiful, I guess, beautiful, didn't want it to be, but service that was very much about him. It was a little boy trapped in a man's body. So we cared for Jesse, and happily cared every day since he was born, because Jesse was diagnosed when he was 18 months old with autism, and then diagnosed with an intellectual disability. And he never spoke. He was non-verbal, and he had, especially through his teenage years, he had very extreme behaviours, and he was 6 foot big guy or kid in a big boy's body, and it was really hard for him. But then as he got through those teenage years, he really came into his own, and he was really happy. And people say to me, how do you know how happy he was? And I say, because he giggled, he belly laughed, he loved every day, and he loved the most simple things. He would just like the wind to blow and watch the trees, and he felt happy, and he giggled at that. He got a lot of enjoyment over the most simple things. Life wasn't easy for him. I mean, he didn't get to have the life everybody else had, but the life he had, he really loved, and I know he did. And he was loved and taken care of. And I'm just broken. So you probably won't see me for a long time, maybe ever, but I wanted to let you know, for those few people maybe that still watch my channel, or I don't know why. It's weird. It's just, I wanted to tell someone. Maybe it's just talking to the camera. I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to put some pictures in and a little bit of video if you're interested. I just don't even know what to say. I'm just broken, and I just miss him. I haven't gone back to work yet, and I don't know what to do about that. I don't know what to do about anything. I went to Bali for 17 days. I got back a couple of days ago, and the reason I went is I just needed to get out of the house. Everything was, every time you wake up, it's just bang. I just want it to be a bad dream. I want it to be over. Everything the light touches. And that was what Jesse was. In this house, we love him so much. And everything we did was about him. And it wasn't a chore. We love him. I will always love him. He was 28, but he wasn't. He was like about a 3-year-old that just froze in time, and he stayed that little boy, my little boy, forever. Sorry. Anyway, maybe one day I'll get back on here and just film again and put all this together and tell you a story about Jesse, more about him. But right now, I don't know how mums do this. I don't know. Hey everybody. So, you've probably watched this. If you have, it's a bit choppy because I had to try to film over various takes, I suppose, in various times. It's incredibly hard to talk about losing your son. And what I've found over the last 2 months, so today I'm filming, it's the 18th of November, 2024. My son, Jesse, passed away on the 18th of September at home, in his bed, in his bedroom, with me. On the 18th of September 2024. Maybe no one will watch this, maybe somebody will watch this. Maybe there's another mum out there that understands. I'm sitting in Jesse's bedroom right now. I'm not back at work yet. My mind just doesn't seem to work. I'm up, I have a shower, and I try. But I'm broken. Sorry, I wanted to do this take without crying. That's my son. My son, Jesse. I wanted to tell a story about him, and I hope somebody watches. So my son was born on the 4th of March, 1996. And pretty soon after, within a few days, he had some stomach issues and he couldn't go to the toilet, and as a baby, a newborn baby, and so I took him back, and that's sort of where the journey began of why. And then at 18 months he was diagnosed with autism, severe autism, back in those days. And then about 2 years after that he was diagnosed with an intellectual disability. And of course there was the why. I was healthy, I was fit, I was 25, I was careful. Anyway, and then I thought, my will and determination is, well, that's okay, we'll beat it. We'll do something. He won't go to a special school. He will learn to go to the toilet. He will learn to feed himself. He never did any of that. Life was really hard. And I somehow found the strength and determination to keep fighting in a world that wasn't set up for Jesse, that he didn't belong to. There's a lot of services out there for disabilities and a lot of people that try to help, but you might get offered in the early days 2 hours a week, or then you got to go to a special school and it's about their program, not what's specific for your child. So I had to fight that. And people tell me that, you know, I stood out because I fought the system, I fought doctors, I fought the government, everybody, because I felt even back then that it's about choice, it's about Jesse and what Jesse needs. It shouldn't be that here's what we have to offer, you have to take it. No. And it was difficult, and Jesse got bigger as his body grew, but his mind didn't. And he was considered here in Australia one of, well, back in the days I wasn't supposed to know this, one of the scariest, aggressive. It was just, it's just his communication. He got anxiety and stressed, and he couldn't talk. He could walk, but he got sick a lot. He just couldn't do a lot of things, but there's a lot of things he could do. And instead of focusing on that, it was always give medication, put him in a home, No. Or it was one time in hospital when he was 17 and the doctor said, you need to give him up to the state. And I'm like, that'll never happen. And it never did. Or put him into one of those adult homes and they'll medicate him. No. So then after school, you know, after all of the hard times during his teenage years, I say teenage years, remembering he's frozen in time at about 3. He finally, at 18, settled. Sorry, that's my dog's barking. Sorry. He settled and we bought another house about 10 minutes away just so he could do a day program. I got specified funding that wasn't even heard of at the time. That paid for his support workers. We wrote a specific behaviour program just for him. Again, nothing existed like that at the time. So I had another break. I've stopped filming. I'm filming again. I don't know if I cut all my hair off. It's not short, but it's not used to be really long. Don't know why I told you that. I'm telling you these random things. Everything feels different. So, to go back to the story. Jesse, we bought a house that was like for his day program and we got all this funding, we did all these things and we fought so hard, like some of the stories, to get the funding that just other people didn't have. You know, I went into crazy mama bear mode to get things for my son that he deserved, that he should have, because just because he didn't fit into what society said, here's what we have to offer you, you know, with a disability. Sorry, my hair's really annoying me. Everything annoys me. So we fought and we built a world for him. We built a program, a behaviour program. We got special ed carers. We got funding for that. We bought the house, the family, but not, yeah. So he was happy. He was finally not anxious anymore. His behaviours went down. He didn't self-harm. He didn't hurt others. He became a gentle giant. And he was happy and he belly laughed and he jumped on his trampoline and he went on those big round swings that we had specially made for him. He watched his videos that he loved. He collected like Pocahontas cards and, you know, because his main movies were like The Lion King and Pocahontas and, you know. I have so many photos all over the walls, which I'll put a little bit of footage in. He was so happy and he got this great life and he was well loved and well taken care of. And then when he was about 23, so just to go back a bit, he lived here with me. This is his bedroom I'm sitting in my house. And he went out to his day program, so his best friend, who was also like a second mum and his carer, who managed all of the other staff, Sarah, she would come and get him in the morning and she would shower him while I was working, and then he would go and do all of his activities. He'd go for big walks, he'd go out the bush, he'd go bowling, he'd go to the lots of things. And he had a great life, a really great life, and he was really happy. And then when he was 23, so 5 years ago, he was diagnosed with a kidney disease and multiple other issues to do with his bladder, his bowels, and he had this infection that couldn't get cured. There was no antibiotics. That it's just one of those super bugs, you know. And you don't hear about these things. And then his doctors said that all of the things that he had, all the complications, he had a lot of health complications, were quite unique, unfortunately, that not a lot of kids in the whole world have that combination of so many complex issues. That's his door banging. It's a sliding door. I've got the window open. It's annoying. Hang on. Okay. So, I don't know. He got just sick. So we went in and we found a renal dietitian, and my mum, who's this really great cook, made everything to help his body process foods and drinks. And it was done at a level that, you know, the doctors say most people can't stick to that type of level, and we did that. We made sure that nothing was, you know, if it had a shelf life, then it had salt. So that didn't happen. Everything was fresh. Everything was homemade. Nothing out of cans, nothing out of jars, you know, no frozen goods. Definitely no takeaway, you know, things like that. But Mum found ways of making his food fun and yummy, and he loved it. And he loved life. And he got sick a lot. But he fought so hard and determined when the doctor said that a grown man, you know, a tough farmer or whatever, would be laying down. That's how, you know, unacceptable. Jesse got up, even if he was dizzy, even if he was sick, he got up every day, he got out of bed, and he wanted to do his routines. He wanted to have a shower. He wanted to have his breakfast. He wanted to go for a walk, even towards later, even if that walk consisted of him just taking 2 steps and sitting. He wanted to go outside and see the air, you know, see the sky. He wanted to have the fresh air. He wanted to live. He really wanted to live. I just want people to know about him. He wasn't just a child with autism that was frozen in time at 3. He was this really unique soul. And I don't just say that because his mum. People say that he taught them so much. When you were in Jesse's little bubble, it was something really special. Really special. And he just had almost like a light that just came out of him. He smiled. He smiled. Even in the last year, he smiled so hard that his nose would screw up every time he smiled. Because, you know, the tree would blow and the leaves would blow. And he would smile because he thought it was fabulous. The simple joys that he got, it's so hard to describe without knowing him, but he just was very special. At his funeral, his doctor talked, and she said the most beautiful speech. And one of the things she said, that out of all of the accolades, out of everything she's ever done in her career, Jessie was by far the one person that taught her so much, not just from all the health things. She said in her speech that there was things like, she went as a doctor, I need this, I need that, and she got a lot of no's, no. But we kept pushing it. We were a great team, myself and the doctor and my mum and Sarah. But we wanted to, because he was special and he made us all happy. It's just hard to be happy anymore. I'm not happy. People can say what they want. I'll do this in honour, think of the good times, try to be positive, keep your mind busy. I get so much of what I should do. And people mean well, and I appreciate that. The truth is, I had a great life. I had a good job. I had my son. We had everything set up. We functioned really well. Everything was about him, but it functioned so well and we were really happy. There is no life in the future for me that's happy because I had it. If I could choose a life, I'd choose what I had. So what am I supposed to be? What is it? All this stuff about moving forward and finding a way, having the hurt, it'll never go, but finding a way to have I can't get it. I've gone to grief counselling, I've gone to the doctor, I took a trip to Bali, not to have a holiday, but to heal. And I sat there every morning and night in the villa and I just cried, and there's no healing, I feel. He's unique. He's not just my son. I created him. He grew in me. He spent every day and night with me. For 28 years, I had this little boy that I had to feed and dress and shower, change his nappy. Yes, he still wore a nappy. He didn't even, say if it was cold in the morning and hot in the afternoon, you had to think about that. You had to go and check on him, make sure that, he wouldn't know to take his jumper off. But there were so many things he did know and he could do. He jumped on the trampoline. He went on, we had those 2 bikes, sort of scary. I went for so many walks. He's a real bush kid. Bush in Australia is Australian bush, And he loved all that. He loved nature. He loved everything. He'd come home and he loved his movies. I play them for him now. He loved his cards. So he's got books and books of Pocahontas cards and he just look at them and, he's got boxes of things. It's not fair. It's not meant to be. I think it's a mistake. I wanted to get on here and say, here's how you survive the first 2 months. It's 2 months today. I survive because unless I actively do something, my body just breathes. My body wakes up. My body goes to sleep. Sometimes I eat. Sometimes I don't. I watch TV, but I don't. Even the colours in the world look different. It's like, how does the world continue without Jesse in it? Does the world know that he's not here? This beautiful light and this kind soul, that he's not here? And I guess that's part of me just talking to you, talking to somebody out there. He was here. And I don't want him to be forgotten. And I want people to know this special boy, my son. I've had people ask me, not what it's like, but, how are you? I wake in the morning because my body does. The minute I'm awake, I realise I'm still in this nightmare and it's real. And he's never coming back. And he's not in his room. So I go in his room to where I'm sitting and I open his blinds like he's here. I put his pyjamas away and I get out a set of clothes that he would have worn. And I put his TV on and I play his shows, normally Pocahontas first, and The Lion King. And this can't be real, but it is. And then I try to find a job that I have to do, or I have a shower or something. And then I come back in here. He should be home at 3 o'clock. He should be eating dinner at 5 o'clock. It's bedtime. Bedtime was so much fun. That's where the I love yous and the chicken butt and the giggles, but it's not there. And he's just not anywhere. And it's a nightmare. And every day, the practicalities of how many minutes are in a day. My mind doesn't work, so it's hard to go back to work. So I just do that. And then I hope that I sleep, and I hope I never wake up. But I do. And I do it again. And again. And every day that passes, he's further away and I miss him more. Because it's not normal. Because I've spent my adult life caring for him, loving him. So proud of him. And he's not here. I don't know. I wanted to tell you about him. I want people to know about him. I want to tell more stories, but I'm so broken. I want to show videos of him. I want people to care. I don't know if anyone will even watch this. Who knows him? Who cares? Who knows who I am? I'm just a mum. Anyway, maybe I'll do another one, or maybe I'll never, that's it, and I'll just never be on YouTube again. I don't know. I know this is not about handbags and it's just life. I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know who I am, and I don't know how to feel. All I feel is broken and heartbreak. Anyway, that's going to be it, because I don't know what else to say yet. Maybe in time, maybe never. But if I'm never here again, please watch this. And I know you don't know my son, but if you just want to think of something simple and joyful in the world, remember this video. Remember Jesse and how beautiful of a soul has been lost in this world. And think of this. When things get hard in your life, or you're just having maybe problems with your own kids, or there's, maybe you're going through a hard time, maybe you're going through, like me, a long terminal illness. Maybe you've lost your son or your daughter. What matters in life are the simple joys. Time was my luxury that I don't have anymore. And the simple things of watching him, pure joy and innocence, just watching the wind blow through trees. This was his, his funeral, I don't know what it's called. It was the service of order at his funeral. But I did want to finish by showing you this, because Jesse loved Pocahontas so much, and the Lion King. In fact, his last breath was to the Lion King. And so we wanted nothing traditional. We wanted exactly what made Jesse happy. And I want to read it, because it's from Pocahontas, but it's beautiful and it says a lot about him. All around you are spirits, child. They live in the earth, the water, the sky. If you listen, they will guide you. And then this sums Jesse up, this, which is strong like Buzz and brave like Simba. To infinity and beyond, which is his Toy Story. I love him so much, and I miss him so much. And I don't know. I'm broken. I'm so broken. At least I've managed to get through most of this without breaking down. Even though I will now go and break down, because I knew that I needed to do this so you could hear me, because when you cry, it's hard. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for listening, and listening about my son, Jesse William.